Hi, it's Jo again. I'm going to be using the Simon Hurley foam blocks today. I've popped a few stamps on an acrylic plate so I can just show you how you can take an impression and use it as a block print or background print on your cardstock. Now first of all you need to heat up the foam block about 10 seconds, so I'm just taking it all the way over the foam block, and when it's hot we're going to push it down into the stamps that I've put on the acrylic block there. Now in a moment you'll see I move my hand on the heat gun so that I've got my finger on the switch and I can just turn it off as soon as I feel it's warmed up enough. Okay, I'm turn it off and put the foam block down onto, you can do it the other way, you can do it the stamps down onto the block, it's entirely up to you. Giving it a good push down and lift it off, and there we go. Can you see the impression there? The three plants. Right, let's use this to create a pretty background. So today, I've got lots of different ink pads, but I'm just using the Elements ink pads from Lavinia. So just bringing a few colours in. So we've got a blue, a dark blue, and a red there. So starting off with the blue, what I want to do is I'm going to use, dog hair. I'm going to use a small brush and just go in, just roughly, it hasn't got to be accurate, into the indentation that the stamp has created into the block. You don't need to worry about the block. As it gets cool, the image will disappear, because it doesn't. You could put it away in a box for years and it would still be there unless you heated it. So it's such a fantastic tool, and I always forget to use it. So I'm just taking it down to the bottom. Okay. I'm just going back over areas that I think I've missed or haven't put quite enough ink down into it. So there we go. So that's the blue. Now let's move over with the pinky red. So I'll use a larger brush now, just so I can get all the grey areas covered. Now it doesn't matter at all if I go over the images there. That's fine, because that adds all to it. It doesn't need to be accurate. I just want a nice background that I can use as a focal point on my card, or I can just use it as a background. Okay, that's nearly all covered there. Coming to the end. Remember to put my lid back on. Hopeless at that. Okay, piece of cardstock, and I'm going to print it downwards and push. Just evenly, just add a little bit of pressure so it's all covered. Lift it off upside down, that's helpful. There we go. And there you can see the three plants. And I think that's really pretty, quite subtle. And you could use your foam blocks in scrapbooking as well. So there's so many options. So now, looking at the block, it's dirty. And what I've done is I've just picked up a baby wipe. Obviously, it depends what ink pads you use, whether you're going to get any staining. But usually, they all come off. Now, I'm going to give this a good old wipe to get it clean. And then what I want to do is I want to get it ready so I can use the stamp block again for another print. I think that's about it. I really did give it a wipe, didn't I? And then as that was a bit damp, that wipe, I'll just go in and use a bit of kitchen paper just to dry it off. Now, what I want to do is get it ready for printing again. So I'm going to use my heat gun again, and I'm going to go over. I try not to keep it in one place. I keep moving it, because even as you move the heat away, it will carry on bringing everything back to the surface. It feels like it's relaxing the foam block, and it will just give up that print. And now that's gone. So it doesn't take long, and it's lovely and smooth, and ready for the next one. This time I'm going to use a stencil, because we've got so many stencils, and I think it's just nice to be able to use the stencils in a slightly different way. So here I go again, about 10 seconds, heating up the block. And to the corners, and I'm going to push down, pushing down into the stencil. You don't have to apply tons of pressure, it's just even pressure. Lift it off, and there we've got a really pretty raised print from the stencil. Pick some different colours this time. So we've got a yellow. And with the yellow, I want you to go where the actual stencil pattern is. So I'm just going all the way over the top. And then what I want to do is bring in a contrasting colour, just so it gives a bit of impact at the end. Okay, now I'm going to move on to another colour. I think this one was the red that I've used. Get a slightly bigger brush, and this time back in, overlapping with the orange. That's absolutely fine. Love these colours together. Some more red, and down the side. Right, now I'm going to push down onto my paper. Oh, pop my ink pad lid back on. Ink pad. Right, let's take this off. There, I love this one. It's really pretty. Right, now I've still got a lot of ink left on my block. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray it and see how many prints I can take off it. So I'll get a slightly longer piece of paper. Give this a spray. I think actually I've probably put a little bit too much water on there, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so I've got a bit of a drip there. Push down. But this one is going to be very intense and just full of paint. So you can see you can't really see much of the outline. So I'm going to stamp it again. So this should be a lot better. There we go. Okay, so that's just a very, very quick play with the foam blocks. Your best thing to do is to get it out, if you've got one, have a play and see what you can create. Thank you so much for watching, everybody.